Good morning, crafty friends. I'm Beth Roy. Welcome to Stamp and Create with Beth. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today is Saturday, August 3rd, 2024, and we are going to talk about one-sheet wonders, but a note card version. So a one-sheet wonder is just simply cutting up your paper and making a stack of cards. So real quick here, I'm just going to pull up my page and my video. Say good morning if you come in. Sorry. Oh, my hand's going to be in the way for a second while I make sure my device is muted. Okay. Good morning, Maggie. Good morning, Joan. Good morning, Linda. So if you pop in and you're going to hang out with us today, feel free to say hi. Let us know where you're watching from if you're new to hanging out with us. And if you watch the replay, thanks for watching. So, oh my gosh, I have a lot of things on my table. You can only see part of them because I can't seem to get my camera to go where I want. So good morning, Dad. Thanks for hanging out with us. So today, raise your hand in the comments if you have done a one-sheet wonder. And again, what that is simply taking your paper, chopping it up, and making a stack of cards and using up your paper, okay? So today, I'm going to show you a version that I've designed, and we're going to use it with note cards. So our note cards, I'm using basic white. I think it's the only note cards we have currently. They come pre-scored and with envelopes, and they're in a pack of 20. So this template that I'm going to share with you today uses all 20 note cards. There we go. So I am going to use it with Adventurous Sky today. So I have a lot of pre-cut things. Look at all my things here. Lots of pre-cut things. But I want to show you really quick in the catalog. Adventurous Sky is part of a suite. The suites start on page 33 of our catalog, and you'll find Take to the Sky suite on page 36 and 37. And I just love this suite. So it has a masculine feel because of the colors, and of course they're airplanes, but I love airplanes. So I've picked out one 12 by 12 sheet of paper. We're going to use this blue, well, is it? Yeah, Night of Navy crosshatch. And then we are, I did bring in a few other bits and pieces that I had, but I cut a ton of planes. I stamped and die cut these and some clouds, and we're going to have some fun with this. But let me show you a set that I made throughout this week. So let me put some of this off to the side. I'm going to tell you all the things I used to color the planes and all of that. So I brought in this little bit that I had, and I have all the planes. I have some clouds, and I have some pieces to stamp greetings. I just grabbed a bunch of stuff I had already die cut, like these circles and things. And then I did a bunch of planes for our card fronts. So let me move this off for just a second. Are you guys excited? Good morning, Vicki. So this is the sheet I originally picked, and I'm going to use, and I forgot to write down my mat sizes, but we'll work through it. we're going to use Smoky Slate for our mat. Now you could use copper clay, the color I used on my planes, but I decided to go with just this Smoky Slate light gray color. Okay, so let me put this off to the side. Here's my paper pack. So you could choose any of these. I have some of this cut. I did some circles with that. So you could use any of these and use a matte color that you like. Okay, this is just what I picked. So I wanted to show that to you. Let me put this somewhere. And let's look at the cards I made throughout the week. So I used lots of bits and pieces that I had in my stash. Thank you for that, love. Joan, you guys have the blue angels there and the sea for, oh, that sounds awesome. Sounds so awesome. I didn't go to any air shows this year, which felt weird, but we had other things going on. So, but I love the planes, so we're using those today. But I wanted to show you, this is my favorite one that I made. And this is bits of designer series paper. So I used the die to cut these new, these birds out. These are new, coming in September. And this paper right here is from the Country Lace designer series paper. So it's a neutral. It has a stripe. It looks like a bit of fabric. And it goes with lots of things. So I wanted to show you that because if you're picking something, even this blue crosshatch could go with flowers. It could go with birds. It can go with anything. Now I'm going to make a set of planes with it, but I want you to see that you could really use it with anything. So I'm picking a design that's not necessarily specific. It does come in this paper pack that goes with planes, but that's okay. You can use it for other things. So here's these. And I paired lots of different sayings. This is a paper pumpkin stamp. I just loved the Sending Love. This came from the Country Flowers, and I just thought it went perfect with a postage stamp. So yesterday I posted a video on how I created this postage stamp layer, so you can check that out. So there's some with birds. I got my cute little fox. Again, a lot of these use paper pumpkin greetings that I've been collecting for years. So just get out your favorite greetings. So you can layer these up like this. We're going to have this strip of paper today too. You can layer these up. These are also some of my favorites. I had a bunch of these layers of beauty laying around, and I cut one up. I just snipped it apart and made 2 cards with it. Here's some planes on this one. So see, this designer series paper can go with the planes as well. I made some flowers. I used a bird. I had this, again, bits laying around. Some oranges I had done. Leftover bits from a class. And these were, I found a bag of die cut flowers. This is an old flower die that we had. And I just popped them on the front of my note cards. It goes perfect with this neutral, neutral paper. Let me get these back in a stack here. So there were those. And then I wanted to show these because you don't have to layer it up. You can use the designer series paper, whatever patterns you have, and just stamp a greeting. Okay, so these, and I used paper pumpkin greetings for these. I just used different mats. Okay, this is a gray, so it goes with lots of things. And I just stamped greetings. So you don't have to layer it all up and use lots of die cuts. You can just use greetings. So I wanted to show you both ways. Thank you, Joan. I had a lot of fun creating all of these different note cards. So I have a set of 20 note cards here that are ready to go for me to use or to gift. And as you know, I do lots of gifts. So I like to use this size, and I like to use this pattern that I'm getting ready to show you, or template. I'm going to call it a template. Sorry, I interchange those words sometimes, and I'm going to try really hard not to. But I like to make sets of 20 so that I can sort them out and give them away. So let's bring in my template. Now, right now, I just have this I use the 12 by 12 pieces of cardboard or sheets that come in our designer series paper. You can take notes on this side, and I recycle it by making patterns. I just use a ruler and I measure things out, and I draw lines with a pencil, and then I trace it with a Sharpie. So this is the template we're going to use today. Can you guys see it? I know I don't know if I can adjust my camera to be any higher. There, maybe that's better. So I'm going to show you how to cut this. Now, I will make a printable for you. It will be available tomorrow or Monday in my Stamp and Create with Beth group. Right now, I'm still thinking about how to describe all of these directions to make the cards. So bear with me on that. But I want to point out something here. When I create my templates, I like to create a line where you're cutting that goes straight across. So this is made for note cards, but I want you to notice something on this pattern. The paper is divided into 4 sections. So if you're using a pattern that comes, or a designer series paper or a patterns paper that is 6 by 6, you can still use this pattern. It's just you either need 4 of the same pattern or 2 that you like coordinating, because you'll see what I'm going to do with these. These 4 little 1 by 1 squares I use to make a little layer like this. So you either need coordinating patterns or all the same, but you could use this with 6 by 6 paper. Oh, thanks, Linda. No, this does not have to be for note cards. I created a version that works with the note card size. However, you could use these pieces and combine them and put them on the standard size card. So our note card size is 5 inches by 3.5. Yes, 5 by 3.5. Now here in the US, this is the smallest size that is mailable, okay, with regular postage. So you could make bigger cards with this template, but you would just have to rearrange it a little bit differently to fill up your card space. But I'm sure it can be done. Good morning, Deb. I'm sorry. I hate when people can't find me. Sorry about that. I wish there was something I could really do, but unfortunately, it is out of my control. Now, every morning when I go live, I go on to my page and I find my video right at the top of my feed. But if you're on like a cell phone or something, I'm not really sure if it looks different. Now, I view from my iPad, and I've also viewed from my laptop, and I don't seem to have issues, but I know that some people say they do. So I'm sorry for that. All right, guys, I have, let's go ahead and get chopping. excuse me, and I'm going to show you how I cut this. So you can either choose to start here on this line, which is at 6 inches, okay, and it goes right through the middle, or you can go this direction. Either way, you're going to cut either these or you're cut this way. And I will tell you, I typically do this side, but depending on how maybe your pattern goes a certain way and you want these to line up a little bit better, it might be better for you to cut this direction and then cut. Or I guess it really doesn't matter. So this might be the better way too. So they line up depending on how you want your pattern to go. Mine does not make any difference. Remember, I picked this pattern, and I meant to have my mats pre-cut, so I'm going to apologize in advance that I did not have that done because I forgot. I need my checklist back. Okay, so I've put all my little bits to the side. So we're going to use this piece. And I like this piece because, like I said, if you have flower bits, the oranges would go on this. Lots of things would go with this paper. So maybe you're in a paper share and you got some of this paper and you have 2 sheets. You could pick one of these to use. And you don't have to cut this way. You could just cut this in half if you want 2 bigger pieces, but you could choose a couple of the sides as your pattern template to cut. So this could go with lots of things. It could go with the new birds even that are coming. I love this pattern. So we're going to use it with our planes and make a whole set of cards with planes. But again, feel free to change that up and use it however you want. So let's get cutting. So I'm going to keep this close by. Again, I will make a printable for you. It is not ready yet. It's to come. So I am just going to jump in here. Now, this does have this on the back. So if you're wanting to flip-flop, you may want to pay attention before you start cutting. I'm not going to worry about it because I'm not using this side. Okay. So I'm just going to come in here and cut this at 6. So I have 2 sheets, okay, that are 6 by 12. And you can start on either side. Because my pattern doesn't matter, it didn't matter where I started. So I'm just going to start cutting this way on this side, and then I will cut the other side. Okay, so this is 6 by 12. I'm going to turn this. And I always get myself confused because this is one of the reasons why I need to revamp this for you. Okay, so I turned my paper and I'm going to cut this at 2 inches. Oops. Slide a few things out of the way here. So I'm cutting this at 2 inches. And then 2 inches. So I have 4 pieces that are the exact same size. Okay. So these right now are 2 by 6, and I want 2 by 3 pieces. So I like to stack my things together and make the cutting go faster. So I'm cutting these at 3. So there are my 4 pieces. So that's this section right here. So we have a 6 by 12. I cut it 2 inches, 2 inches. I stack these 2 and cut them at 3. So I have 4 pieces of 2 by 3. Now I'm going to cut 1-inch pieces. And I have 4 of these. I think that moved a little bit. That's okay. We're not going to worry about it. Okay, so I have those 4. And you can keep them in order if your pattern has something specific. I cut one of those off a little bit. That's all right. We're just going to go with it, and it's going to be okay. So I like to stack these, and because I cut that one end, I think my paper moved. Check this one. Might be a little bit bigger. That's okay. I'm going to stack them again and cut them all together, maybe. So I've got my 4 pieces that go together, and then these strips. Okay, so that leaves me with a 4x6 piece. I'm going to turn this and cut it at 3. So I get 2 4x3 pieces. Good morning, Jenny. Okay, so any questions on that first half that we cut? And I just stack them. So anything that I want to go together, I stack together. Okay. Now we're going to cut this. So I cut this side. I'm going to cut this side. And all I do is I turn, and these are 3x3 squares. So I'm going to turn and cut at 3. And 3. So this is right here. This is a 6x6 sheet, and I'm just cutting it in half one way, stacking it, and then cutting it in half the other way. So cut it at 3. You're going to stack your 2 sheets, turn them, and cut at 3. So those 4 pieces are ready to go. This piece that's left, I'm going to cut at 4.5. So I like my layer on my note card to have a mat behind it. So I do, our note card's 5 inches. So my cardstock layer's at 4.25. So I do 4.5. And I think it's a little bit shorter because on this one side by 1/8 of an inch, because I accidentally cut one of my 1-inch strips too wide. So just know that when you're doing yours. I'm going to keep going with mine. So it leaves this strip and these 2, and I'm just going to turn it and cut it at 3. So I have these 2 fronts, and this one is a typical layer. We're going to do a special thing with that one. And I have these 2. And this is actually going to be the one that ends up a little bit shorter. Instead of being 1.5, it's going to be, oh, I guess it's this direction. It's going to be just 1/8 of an inch shorter, which will be fine. We'll adjust our cards a little bit. Oops. Sorry. Hit the wrong button and I lost my chat. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened there, but somehow I got my paper a little bit off. Or maybe it was the paper. I don't know. We're still it's gonna be fine. So there's all our cuts. Now, on this one, I show a diagonal cut. If you don't like diagonal cuts, you can cut it in half. you can just cut it in half and make, let's see, it would be 2 1/4 by 3 pieces. You could cut it in half this way and make it 1 1/2 and do some strips. You can cut them differently. Now I did do on this one, I want to show you the 2 cards that I made, because here you notice I have some dotted lines. That's so that you can do a technique. Let me find my card that I used that on. There it is. Okay. So if you want to spread out your pattern and make a bigger mat, you can cut these at 1 inch, and you'll get 3 1 inch by 3 inch pieces, and you can spread them apart and do a little design element. Now something else I did here was I cut my piece diagonally and then matted it and just made a little design element. So you can do that too. You could also put this on 2 separate cards if you want to make more cards. Again, note packs are a pack of 20, but you could use a couple of packs and kind of stretch these too. Okay, so any questions on the cutting? So I'm going to cut some mats really quick. Hopefully I brought enough over. So I need some things I didn't mat, so you don't have to mat everything. I'm going to cut some for this though. So for my 4 1/2 by 3 pieces, I do 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. Okay, and I'm just going to stack these with my papers they go with. And then let's see, what do I have here? 2. I'm going to make a mat, let's see, 1 3/4. Sometimes you end up with little bits. You can stack them to do other things. It's up to you. I just kind of toss them off to the side for the moment. So there's that. Okay. Let's see. I need 4 1/4. Okay, 3 1/4. And some of these I'm going to do no mats on. Okay, we'll just do the patterned paper. So I'm going to make 1 mat for that and not for the other one. And I can do, let's see, this one I did 3. The one where I spread it apart, I did 3 1/2 by 3 1/4. So let's do 3 1/4. Hopefully, I will write all these down. Okay, or 3 3/4. That one might be a little smaller. We're just gonna go with it. Okay. Goes with that one. And let me do these. And then if we need, let me do some of these. So I know you can hear me working through this. So these, the 1 inch by 5 strips, I make those to go the full length. So I'm doing 5 inches by, and I like it to be a little bit bigger, 1.5. I want a really wide border on those. And I like to mat all of those. So I'm just going to cut some of those real quick here. And then I think I'm going to cut 2 more or 3 more. And we will start laying things out. Okay, so those go with these. Okay. And this is how I actually plan my cards and work. I cut my paper. Usually I'm standing. That's probably why I had a little mistake on my cutting, because I'm sitting. And then I stack everything out like this. So I want 2 mats for these and a mat for this. So I'm going to cut 2 more. And these pieces, and if you don't remember, I don't measure every time. I just go over to my template. Oh yeah, these are 2 by 3. So I'm going to add a 4th. So I need a 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. I need 2 of those. And this one, if you put them all down like this, these are 1 inch. So this is a 2 by 2. So I do 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. So let me see what I got here. I think this is 2 1/2. So let me cut this at 2 1/4. And then I'm going to trim this down a little bit. It goes with that one. And I'm just stacking them right now. So now I need 2, let me see how big. Nope, not big enough. Let's do, I'm going to do 3 1/4. And there might be like a really great way to cut all these mats where I don't have as many little bits and pieces. But I didn't really pay attention, so. Now remember, I have that other little bit of paper that we might bring in and cut some things for. So these 2 have mats as well. And then I have some that don't. Okay, so I think we're all ready. Let me just move some of this scrap stuff out of the way. Thank you for the love. I appreciate that. So this is what I do. Joan said she has sometimes trouble getting the mats the right size. Sometimes I just overthink way too much, but this is my general rule of thumb. So when I'm looking at my template, like I said, I could probably have cut my mats better had I really planned it out, but I just grabbed 2 sheets of cardstock and just started cutting. I didn't plan that. So I probably could have planned it better. But I look at my biggest sheets. So this is my biggest size, 4 1/2 by 3. And I add 1/4. So you could do an 1/8 if you don't want as much cardstock showing. You could do an 1/8 of an inch. Or you can add a 4th. My general rule of thumb is to add a 4th. So my typical layer for my note cards is 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. And that mats this perfectly. Then I start cutting the next size down. And hopefully when I get down to my bits, I have enough for these little pieces that are on the bottom. So this one is 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. And the ones that I changed were this, and not really, I still added a 4th. And then this one, I added an extra 4th. Now on my other card, I spread them a little bit more. And so I did 3 1/4 this way. And I did 3 3/4 this way. So for our card, I did it 3 1/2. You can adjust it to what you like visually. On this one, I spread it really far apart. I had a lot of space in between. And so this is 3 3/4. So you can adjust that however you like. But that's my typical rule of thumb. That's what I do. Okay, so are you guys ready to get these cards going? And we're going to try to make as many as possible. I'm going to try to make all 20, but we'll see. It's my plan anyway. So what do you guys think so far? I have shown this template, or yes, template before. And we just did it a very simple version without die cuts and layers. So anytime that you need to simplify it, feel free. So remember, they come with all the envelopes we need, which is great. And they are pre-scored. And there's usually 20. The last couple times I've opened them, I've actually had an extra note card. So maybe you'll get lucky and get an extra one. So what I do is I just start laying these out. And then I start planning them. So I this is what I call my batch process. I take my layer and I do this. This one doesn't have a layer. This one does. And then I stack it. Now, you could, let me bring in some of these things. I have all these little planes. Let me make a pile here. And yes, this is exactly how I craft. I have 3 sized planes. I'm making 3 piles over here to the side. So you might want a big plane. You might like it better on this one. Okay. I have some other elements that I may bring in. So, oops, my pile went flying. I just start sorting things. Okay. I've got clouds that I did. So I'm just going to start piling them here. It doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. It just means I'm batching. I'm kind of pre-planning. Okay. I'm not making one card and gluing it and then moving on to the next one. I'm laying everything out, and I have all kinds of bits, probably not enough bits. I don't think I have enough bits, but that's okay. So I might, I don't know if I have any greetings that small, but I might want it like that. And this one, I may just want a banner. And then I stack them. So I don't know what I want on this one yet. It might just be a greeting. I might not have a plane for it. It's okay. Then I go, and I usually put these up in front of me, and then I lay my next cards out. So don't be afraid to get down to business here. Even if you don't know which planes you want where, okay? Just keep on going. Keep on sorting. You might get to make it and then decide you want something different. Oops. Do something like this. And like I said, I don't know if I cut enough planes, but we'll see. Now remember, oh, you know what? I forgot. We need to cut this at a diagonal. So let me show you that really quick so that I can sort it, because otherwise I will wonder why I have an extra note card. I use my ruler, and I like to oh my goodness, I am knocking stuff everywhere. I like to measure up a 1/2 inch. Okay, that's just my preference. I had a pencil here somewhere. There it is. I just take a pencil and I mark it. And it doesn't have to be perfect. and I'm going to make a little mark over here at the 1/2 inch. So, oh, that's a 1/4. I might have marked that one a 1/4 too. Let's see. Nope. Okay. So make sure you mark it the right thing. 1/2 inch. And don't worry about that. We'll erase it. So you can do a 1/4, you can do a 1/2 inch, you can do whatever you want. You can do corner to corner. Okay. That's just, I like to have this little straight part. It's my preference. Then you bring in your trimmer. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm sorry if I was off screen a little bit. Sorry about that, Vicki. So I'm sorry. I keep forgetting that my camera, my stand isn't high enough to show you. So I measured from the bottom right up 1/2 inch and I made a tick mark. Then, don't turn it, top left, I measured down a 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm going to cut from this tick mark to this one, and I know it's hard to see probably on camera. So that's what I did, and I just put that mark in my trimmer. And this is a hard pattern to see. So here's a mark, and there's a mark, and I just have it where it's lined up in my groove. And I cut it like that, okay? I like this little edge. If you don't, you can, like I said, you can do corner to corner. Sorry, I just knocked all my things on the floor. My arm keeps catching everything. So I'm just gonna stand because it's easier. So we have it like this. Now you can leave it like this and leave the gray up here showing, or you can cut a diagonal. And when we get to that one, I will do that. But right now I'm just going to keep sorting. This one I'm going to do without. Do a big plain with that one. Now it looks like I'm doing all of these portrait, but a lot of times I change these to be landscape. So I'm just keep sorting, keep going. I only cut one mat. That's all right. I guess only one of these get a mat. And let's do some little planes. And, oh, I'm missing some things here. No wonder. I wanted to show you a cool technique. We'll do it with that one. So I'm just kind of pre-planning. Like I said, nothing's set in stone. We're just kind of laying it out right now. And I'm stacking them up. Thank you for the love. Oh, me too, Maggie. Me too. And I, like I said, I made the other set. It took me all week. I just kind of laid things out and then made the mats because I used all different colors. Let's see. I'm running out of planes. I have 2 planes left, and so I might need some more planes because I have 4 cards left. Okay. Or we can leave some cards without a plane. That's fine. So these each have a mat. These are just my strips. You could also just use a cloud. I do have a plane that I have not planned for this, but we could bring it in and use it. So there's how that looks. And I did make this border wider on purpose because I like it to have a little bit more. I made this for a card class sample. I wanted to see what colors I like. So we could use that. This also comes with that Adventurous Sky. Why not, right? Let's do some clouds on these. And I'll just leave one plain. And see, I just pulled in a bit from my desk, and this works. You don't have to have the cloud on it. I might leave the cloud off. I'm not sure yet. So there's my stack. 20 note cards. Now I have lots of this. And I have some extra clouds and stuff over here. I have lots of these different die cuts that I just had. Sometimes when I have extra scrap basic white, I just do die cuts with it, and I put them in a little bin off to the side. Now, when I did my 4th of July scrapbook layout, I had cut a bunch of these circles, so I also have these that I could bring in and mix and match anywhere that I need them. Okay, I have lots of bits and pieces on my desk, so I'm going to use them. I also have all of these Night of Navy circles that I just wasn't sure what size I wanted for that scrapbook layout. So I have these left over that I can use and add in just to add little elements and pops of color here and there, or just when you just feel like you need a little something. So yes, you can add in mountains or treetops, definitely. Now, I will say this stamp set has Flying By to Say Hi, and this is a cling stamp, so it is not, it's not see-through. You're the best, plain and simple. It does have a Happiest Father Day, but I'm not going to use that one. This is my favorite, Happy Birthday, and You Always Lift Me Up. So you can stamp these. I also have a slew of paper pumpkin stamp sets next to me. I've been using those a lot. I also have this Simply Said. I like some of these things that are just, you know, a nice thin, same size font. And then there's these that look more like handwriting. But I have various things in front of me. So we're just going to use whatever is here on my desk. And we're going to just get started. And we're going to see some of the cards I stamped directly onto the card front. Some of them I use die cuts. You can use strips. Okay, so if you don't have die cuts, obviously you would need that to have the planes. But if you were using this with maybe an ephemera pack or something that you can buy that's already pre-cut, you can just use strips of paper that you cut with your trimmer. Okay, you don't have to use anything fancy, so you can keep it simple. This is a stepped up version. So this goes like this. Yep, that looks a little plain, but you can throw something behind it. I also have some other circles cut. Let's just see, maybe. I only have one of these big circles, but you might want to ground your plane like that. And then we will put a greeting on here. maybe like that. So let me grab, I'm going to stamp this one Happy Birthday. And also I'm using one ink color, okay, for all my greetings. I'm using basic gray. So don't feel like you have to have every ink color. I mean, certainly you could, but if you're just starting out and you just need a neutral, just pick a neutral. And sorry, I had to grab a quick drink of coffee. So normally I lay all these out and I do all the stamping at one time, but I'm just going to, first I'm going to stand up. I don't craft sitting. So I know that's off screen a little bit. I tap, tap, tap. So if you're not familiar with inking, you take your stamp and you just lightly tap. This is foam. If you push down, it's going to squish up and it's going to get everywhere. And then you're going to have what we call the halo. You don't want that. So tap lightly. I'm going to turn this over and stamp. And then I'm just going to tuck this under here like that. So there's card 1. Now, these are pre-scored, but sometimes they're not scored real deep. So I recommend, these are thick, basic white. I recommend, oops, I line mine up and I take my bone folder and I really crease that edge. I want to burnish that and make sure it stays. Otherwise, they kind of stay open like this. Oops, sorry. Don't mean to be throwing my bone folder at you. So there's our first card, and I'm just going to quickly glue it. You can use dimensionals. I might use dimensionals on my plane. And I like the liquid glue. And I'm just going for about the middle. I think I want this right there. Oh, that's a little too much glue, but and then I'm going to use some dimensionals on my plane here. Okay. The green, yes, it is nice. It is fun. This paper pack has a lot of fun designs in it. I really like it. And by the way, FYI, there is a designer series paper sale that goes live Tuesday, August 6th. So this happens to be my class coming up. I don't have all the stuff ready for it, but I'm going to be buying some of this paper for sure, for myself and for my class. Hopefully it doesn't sell out. Things are while supplies last, so, but there, you know, I always want you to have the benefits of a paper sale. There we go. Card number 1, done. Now, I will tell you another little tip that I do for batching because I'm not doing it quite this way. First, I don't normally leave my ink pad open where all my cards can touch it. I typically go through, and I know that I might want this on here, I typically go through and glue all of my mats and then start placing things on my card. I feel like it's just simpler when you're designing. But I am going to show you a couple design elements that you can do. You don't have to use those mats the same. And I forgot, I cut this a little bit different. but I just try to quickly get everything together. And these aren't meant to fit the full front. So that's why I said you're just trying to get it about the middle. It's okay that it doesn't reach. So I had this plain on here. You know what? Let's make this a landscape card. And I was thinking of doing the flying by to say hi. I haven't used that one yet. See if it'll fit. And I like to use circles a ton when I'm doing greetings because I feel like it's easier to get them straight. So flying by to say hi. We have a little cloud just to kind of take up some of that space. And I have these little ones too. So if you feel like you need maybe a couple clouds here, we could do a couple clouds like this. This can be popped up, and your airplane can be popped up too. So I do think about these a little bit. Now the ones I just did, and I did bits from my desk, I didn't really think. I grabbed my bits, and I just kind of put things, the colors I wanted with it, and the paper was a neutral. So, oops. A little too much glue. That's all right. So you can do a little planning and kind of die cut everything ahead and have everything ready to go. Or you can go through all those bits that you've been planning to use and make cards with. Put one down here on. So I'm using dimensionals and mini dimensionals. They work great with this on the little parts. All right, moving along. Now this one doesn't have a mat. Joan, I have loads and loads of bits. I like to recycle some of the little plastic coverings that we get all these things in. And they're just full of things that I sit and die cut, and then maybe I didn't need them all. So on this one, I have this piece, and I have a bunch of little clouds. And then I'm going to show you a little technique. So I have a plane. I just used the cloud die, and I did a white die cut. And we're going to stamp our greeting on that. Fun, right? So think about other ways that you can use your dies. And this doesn't have to be straight, by the way. I'm going to make this a little crooked on purpose. Have some fun with it. I think Deb said me too. I think it's a requirement to have a drawer of bits, isn't it? I mean, I have, ask my friends who craft here. I have bins of bits. And honestly, it makes me a little stressed out sometimes, and sometimes I go through them and I throw them away because it just stresses me out. But I don't know if that'll fit. That won't fit. I'm trying to think of something that, ooh, I got something that's going to fit on there. We have a yay. I really want to use that cloud though to stamp on. I might have to put that one off to the side because I don't. I wonder if I can stamp just the high. I used to have a little teeny tiny hello, but I don't know what stamp set that's in, so. See if this hello works. Now this is from a paper pumpkin, and it's from August of 2015. I've used it on a ton of my cards. You can tell it's very well loved, but we're going to try this. And I like this because it looks scripty. You know how they do the skywriting? So I'm just going to stamp my little hello on there. And pop that on with a dimensional. Good call, Joan. Joan knew where I was going with that. I love it when I have smaller greetings. So we're going to put this here and put that there. Fun. And you can add another cloud. I like to just kind of put them off to the side, and if I want to adjust them a little bit, I can. Here's another one that's like that. I used a bigger cloud. And we're just going to keep on moving through. Oops. I'm going to make this one a landscape. So every once in a while, because this doesn't have a direction, you can change your orientation here. Now let's see. I think what greeting I want to do on that one. I think I want to do another happy birthday. Just looking through my die cuts here. I have this one. I'm just going to use it. Oops, sorry, I hit my camera. I apologize for that. There we go. And I'm going to adhere everything on this one flat. So don't feel like you have to always use dimensionals. You don't have to. I just like to have things popped up. I feel like it just elevates the card a little bit. Might tuck him in just a tad. He's popping out of the clouds. Okay, so we just keep going. What do you guys think? I think this is the one that I want to, yep, this is the one I'm going to cut apart. Forgot to slice that up earlier. So, squeeze my trimmer in here. I am just going to cut this into 1-inch strips. And we'll separate a little bit. Now, if you don't want a plane on this one, you don't have to. This could be one that you leave the plane off of. We're just going to separate these a little bit like this, and they don't have to be straight. You could make them off a little bit. And there's our plane and our little greeting. We're going to put our greeting on here. So, what have you guys been up to? Let's have a little chatter here in the comments. I don't want anyone to feel bored. And sometimes, a lot of times when I'm making these card sets, I just get going and I just don't pay attention to anything else. So that's what that looks like. I put the top one on and then the bottom, and I'm just kind of spacing it. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you like it really straight, then you could make marks or whatever. I just like kind of separating my paper a little bit. Oh, Deb, I'm sorry that you haven't felt well. Ooh, Joan, that sounds fun. Ooh, Maggie, you have a weekly paper art project. Ooh, tell us more about that. What do you do? Deb, I hope you feel better. I know, that was me yesterday. That's why some of this that I had already kind of planned to have done wasn't done. Because I have been sick this week too. And so I I hope you feel better. I'm just kind of looking at how I could maybe step this up a little bit. And I remember I have these circles over here. So I'm just kind of looking at things. And these are the same size, so I was just looking at if I just kind of offset it a little bit and make an element here. I don't want them to be too busy. So I really thought I'd want a circle on that, but I don't know if I like the circle. Might move that off. Let's pick something different. Maybe this. I feel like there's two. Vicki, I have 5 littles. Trucks, painting, cartoons, lunch. Oh, yeah, that sounds fun too. And exhausting. Thinking. Let's try this one. Joan, you think the big circle behind the plane? I have this size. I have one more of this size. And again, you can stamp right onto the cardstock. You don't have to feel like you're using die cuts all the time for your greeting. And I will do some like that. Some of the smaller ones. Oh, Jenny, construction. Yes, I'm glad that is coming to a close. I know when I rearranged my room not too long ago, wow, yeah, out of sorts. Okay, we could do that. I think I like that. Break up the pattern a little bit. So see, sometimes you lay things out and you pre-plan and then you get to going and you're like, I don't like that. And that's okay. Change it. Not a big deal. So you can just kind of see how these are coming together. Ooh, look, I have an extra plane. I accidentally had 2 stuck there. I don't want 2 on there. So you can do, cut this in diagonal. You can do whatever with this. This one, I was going to stamp a greeting on the cloud and do the plane. So let's do that. I'm going to make, I know I'm making a lot of birthday cards, but that's what I need the most of. And that's what besides thank yous, we'll make some thank you cards, I guess. We could do thank you. But that is what I use the most of. So when you're picking your greetings, you guys know I love hello. I like really simple things too, or just a note, and we'll do some of those as well. But I do need lots of birthday cards. I'm stamping this cloud with happy birthday, just like we did on the other one. We used our cloud for our greeting. And then we're going to have this guy popping out. Well, that makes me happy that I have more planes. See what happens when you're doing things quick. So simple. And you don't, I'm going to pop up the cloud with dimensionals. Oh, thank you for that, love. I appreciate those hearts. Oh, yeah, Christmas cards. Good idea. Yep. I have used this for Christmas cards. I have used this template. But I also think, you know, this pattern, this blue pattern, I think it can be for anything. It doesn't have to go with the plains. That's obviously what I'm using them with, but you could use it with anything. The daisies, the birdhouse, even my little fox would go well with this. Remember my favorite little fox? Any flowers. This is just such a great pattern that you could really use it with whatever you want. And it would look great. And Night of Navy is more of a neutral, so it goes with, it pairs with a lot of colors. I love Night of Navy. It's one of my favorites. There we go. Moving right along. Here's one of our diagonals. And I'm going to stamp directly on the cardstock for this one. So, I do like to use my stamp positioner. And something you can do with these, I feel like I'm kind of fighting that score line. A lot of times I put these in my trimmer and you score this at 3.5. And you just kind of make the score a little bit deeper. I mean, it is scored on a machine, and it's probably going really fast. So I am going to, ooh, I don't want it over that far. This is going to have no matte, so it has a lot of white showing. So I can put this up as high as I want. Okay. Then I'm going to have my plane here, and I'm going to stamp right here. So if you don't like the diagonal, you can cut it straight. You don't have to, excuse me, have a diagonal. I just kind of like that element. And I'm going to pop my plane up, and I'm going to stamp my greeting right here. And I think I'm just going to do hello. I wish I had a giant hello, but I don't anymore. We have a retired one somewhere. But I'm just going to do a little hello up here. And this is from the Simply Said. So this is in my online store, along with the planes. Now, I do recommend stamping it with a stamp positioner, but I just went for it. It'll be okay. So Joan says this is on our list. Does anyone else have this set? This was like one of the first sets I bought. Is this on your list, Linda? Yes, the stamp set does have a cloud. Has 3 clouds, actually. So this is the Adventurous Sky. It has 3 planes and 3 clouds. And we're going to use this stamp here in a minute on one of our cards. I just love these. I'm making a big mess next to me. No one look at my floor. Okay, I'm going to save this one for last because we have to cut it again. So I'm going to pop it to the bottom because I want to keep moving forward. Did I not have a plane on that? Maybe this plane went with this one. So this, let's see, did I already do one of these with the full? Anyone? Yeah, kind of. Okay. Okay, so this is the other one, and typically you would just mat this like this. Okay. I feel like I need a bigger plane. Or maybe a lot of clouds. Let me see what clouds I have left. Or, oh, you know what I do have? I have one of these. I have this other pattern, like this. Or I can bring in this and cut something, another little square or a strip to go with this. This side's, I feel like I need something else. Maybe a white circle. Just creating some layers here. I'm not sure exactly what I want. We could stamp on this. I had an idea. Let's see if I can make it happen. I need to move some things out of my way here. Sometimes you can curve your greetings like this. This one might not work. To go around. I don't think that one's going to work though. You like the designed paper? Oh, well, that's understandable, Linda. I love these planes, so this was right on my list. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to move off screen. I apologize. Let me move this stack and maybe that will help. There. I think my stack was in my way. You like this one or this one? So we could do a little strip of this. And yeah, you might not get the whole plane. That's okay. Or we can do, I don't know if I like these two patterns together, but it works. Okay, I'm not sure which one, but I am going to cut some, let's see. Our length is 4.5. So I'm going to do I'm just eyeballing it here. I think it's about 3.5. In between, let's see. I'm just gonna cut a little piece off here. And I'm gonna cut a strip. And I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I'm looking at my pattern and seeing what I want to show. And I think it's about 1 1/4. So this, I haven't glued that yet. I'm just going to put a little strip here and then I'm going to pop this up. And I'm not sure about my grading yet. So sometimes I want to add things. Maybe if I put a bigger plane on that one, I don't know. We're going to go with it. You mean this? I don't. Or do you mean the crosshatch paper? I'm just kind of going and going and going. So sorry. I apologize. All right, that doesn't fit. Let me see. I don't really want a circle. Thank you. Sorry, Vicki. I wasn't sure which one you meant, and I just kind of already went with something, so I don't know if you meant this blue or that blue, or which blue. Now, I'm going to, and I'm not great with trimming straight, but we're just going to do it here. I cut a bit of that off, and I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to pop this up. So, flying by to say hi. It looks like a little banner, you know, like the, oops, the little banners behind the planes. Thank you, Vicki. I hope you guys love these. I have just been playing with note cards all week. And a lot of these, yes, I'm making these cards very similar. When I make card sets, you can make a set of these that all match, that go to one person, but I typically start sorting my cards so that there's a mix of types of cards in my set. So I might make a set that looks all the same and then sort them out for my card sets. So hopefully that makes sense. Raise your hand if you make card sets in the comments. Oh, what am I doing? This has to go on the base. If you make card sets, raise your hand in the comments and share your favorite tip when you make sets. There. Isn't that cute? I love how it turned out. Okay. We're just going to keep on going. Another quick tip is, yes, I laid all these out, but had I scored all of them before I did it, it would have been faster. I'm going to make this like this, and I'm going to stamp right on here. I'm going to do this one with the happy birthday too. Now, I am going to use my stamp positioner. Anytime that I typically stamp right onto my cardstock, I like to put it on that way because I don't always stamp very well when I'm doing my words, and I don't want to mess it up. It's on my card base. I don't want to have to fix it. So I'm going to bring that in. Oops. And I'm just kind of lining it up. I'm just eyeballing it. You can use your grid paper to make sure it's straight. And I literally just have a pile of everything thrown over here. So I just throw stuff on my Stampin' Scrub. You can also, here's a hot tip if you're using a lot of photopolymers and you don't want to lose your stamps. They will get stuck to things. Ask me how I know. I use a clear block, like a big clear block, and I usually have it over here. And I just stick my stamps to it. And then that way they are not floating around on my desk, getting lost or stuck to paper or other stamp cases or whatever you have on your desk. I'm going to check comments here in just a minute. As soon as I finish this card, I know I saw a bunch of things going by. Oh, that's a good idea, Linda. So you just use like a variety of four greetings and make packs. Joan makes Christmas packs. That's a good idea, Joan. So you make packs of 6. Oh yeah, Vicky, I love doing that. So I buy these, I buy a ton of these packs, and then I do this. I don't always do the diagonal, but I do cut up my designer series paper if you have several patterns you like, you could even mix and match them. I'm gonna get ready to show you that here on a couple of these cards. I know we have this nice, beautiful stack. I'm gonna put this off to the side because I feel like it's getting in my way as of you guys seeing what I'm doing. So I'm gonna keep on moving here. Now, there's that one I was looking for. I already used it. When you're making these, I cut these to be mounted like this. Let me see. So you can do it like this, or you saw my bird one. I had one this way and one this way. You don't have to do them even, and you could even make this a little bit bigger if you wanted it to be a different size. You could emboss it with a pattern. Okay. So you can do this. You can separate them a little bit more like that. You could emboss this. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this like this. Our plane's going to go up here. We're going to have a cloud. Maybe. I don't know if I like the cloud. Take that away. Maybe just this. So you don't have to put it on even all the time. That one's too short. But just have a little fun with it. I know sometimes we feel like everything has to be symmetrical and it has to be perfect, and it doesn't. It can be fun, it can be lopsided. You don't have to have everything straight. And I'm just adhering everything flat. I'm sorry, I just saw your comment, Vicki. Yep, that would have been an option. Vicki said turn it landscape and make it look like it's pulling this. Maybe we can do that on one of them. I still have some left. So see, you don't have to make everything straight. Now on this one, I'm going to take this paper that I cut and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it back like that. Now I still have a plane left. We'll make it look like it's pulling a banner. Now I did have two planes on this one, but I don't have to have two planes. I'm doing a patterned paper, so we could just do this down here. And I think I want, if I want a blue circle, or a white circle. Let me Joan, you have a hard time with wonky. You know, I really do too. Sometimes I just don't think about it. And it is hard sometimes, I think, to do things that way. I don't know if I did it exactly the same as I originally had it, but we're going to do this, and I might pop this up, so trying to see what greeting I want. I don't need that. I want a little tiny greeting. I might use that little hello again. I really like this one. Now this is a tag from the Layers of Beauty dies, and I'm just going to tuck it like a banner under there. So I'm kind of laying this out. I'm going to put this on dimensionals, and I'm just kind of going with it. You can move it up a little bit. I'm just going to put a little glue on this end here so that these are together. Hello, Xana. Thanks for joining us. Oh, Deb, you're good at it. Well, give us, what, do you have any tips? I know for me, I feel, I don't know. I love the look, but when I'm making cards, I don't think about it. I kind of have to force myself. Trying to see where I want this exactly. I had it down here originally. Just gonna put it down there. Okay. Oh, I like to do that too, but I do have a hard time sometimes. Okay, let's do this one. Move my extra plane here. Let's do this one this way, and we'll stamp it like it's a banner. So let's do this first. And I am getting better about it, I will say that, but a lot of times this is me. I adhere all these things, and then I think, oh, I see someone else's layout, and it's, you know, it's layered and they're crooked, and I think, oh, I really like that. Why don't I ever do that? Well, it's because my brain just doesn't do it. I'm training myself, though, and I'm getting better. I do think it takes practice, and I work really hard to try to come up with different things. Okay, so I don't know if I have any of those long, oh my gosh, I have glue on my finger and it's long banners left, but I do have this strip, so we're just going to make a banner out of it. Let me see. Ooh, I do have that big long cloud. Remember where I took it off of like this? So put a cloud directly on the card and then pop up the plane and the banner. Oh, yeah, you could stamp a cloud, yeah. Let me see. I have some left, so I actually have a banner left under there, but I'm just going to stamp this like this. We're just going to go with it. Okay, I'm going to bring that back in here in a minute, Vicki. So first I'm chopping this off. And then to make a banner, I'm just going to cut in the middle. And then I'm going to cut from the corner up to where I made that slit. There's our banner. I might need that little plane for this one. Yeah, he's too small, isn't he? Maybe I need the smaller happy birthday. Deb. Ah, that is funny, Deb. I've never heard of a crooked brain, but okay, so I'm going to use this little one that I have here, and I'm going to stamp this other happy birthday. And make a smaller one. Yes, Anna, I agree. Enjoying the process. You have to do that. And that's kind of what I did. All week, it took me all week of just when I had a moment to make those other set of note cards. So don't feel like you have to sit and do this all at one time. So I made a smaller banner here. There we go. So let's see, if we bring in this cloud, we can put this cloud here and then pop these up. Let me bring it down a little bit. And then pop these up. I think that's what Vicki meant. Joan, you like templates? I do sometimes. That's why I say when you see my templates, feel free to change them to, you know, things you like. Cut the corners off and add twine. You could definitely do that. I don't have any twine nearby, so I'm going to leave that off of this one. Just because I'm at my time limit here and I gotta go. So I'm gonna try to figure out how I want this cloud. Maybe up here. Okay. I'm just kind of going with it. This is Vicki's suggestion to place it at the bottom. I'm just reading as we're going, and I'm trying to hurry because I do have to get done. I have some things going on today, so I thank all of you who've spent so much time with me. I appreciate you. And I love all the ideas that we're sharing. So this is going to go here. And our plane is going to be right here. And I know it doesn't really have a connector. And there is actually a piece you could die cut. But we're just gonna just going to keep on going. Let me show you put these extra pieces over here. Let me show you one of these that I have down here. So I still have quite the stack. I'm still working, but we're not going to get all of them done on the live. It's when you don't do layers like the planes and the things, it goes a little bit faster. I do have a live that has simple cards with just some layers and some greetings. And I posted that video yesterday. So feel free to check it out. But oh my goodness, this corner doesn't want to line up. I will have to probably finish them off screen and then show you guys. But I think you definitely get the idea of this. And I will keep going. When I hit the 11 o'clock mark, I got to be done. So I'll just keep going. But I like this wide border. Like this. And it goes on here. I think I have, maybe I cut my gray a little small. I don't know. Just going to trim this. And you can adhere this in the middle, at the top or bottom, whatever you like. But this goes on, and then I'm just going to put some little things here on the end. Oops. My fingers are so sticky that I can't get anything off of them. Bye, Jenny. Thanks for hanging out. Now I'm going to stamp directly on the cardstock on this one. And I'm going to do, let's do a thank you. I haven't done a thank you yet. And then I'm going to do one more. I'm going to cut that diagonal. And that will be my last card for this one. So I do use my stamp positioner. Like I said, I'm stamping right onto my card layer. Make sure it is opening the right way. Oh, sorry. Can you see me? So there you go. So I like how simple these are. Again, you can leave just this. You don't have to have the planes. Vicky, no, I don't have a preference on dimensional size. I really don't. So, oops. I think I have about 6 that I didn't get done. So I'll have to finish those. I'm going to do this one really quick. So what I do for this, I have to bring in my trimmer here in a second. This is going to mat like this. And you can measure this, okay? You're going to go 1/8 of an inch higher. I think that's right. So this was a half. So from the corner here, I'm going to measure, you could do 3/4. I did that on my other one and I felt like it was too big. Because then up here you would do 1/4. So let me do that. That's how I did my other one. So I'm taking my ruler and I'm measuring, and you could use your grid paper too. Might be easier to see. And I'm putting a little mark from bottom right. So this is 3/4 because I want it bigger. And then this I need to go the other way. So I'm marking it at 1/4 because remember we did a half. So we do 1/4 bigger and 1/4 smaller. And then I'm simply lining those up in my track here. Lining up my tick marks. I think I should have cut it a little bit more, but I think that's the same mistake I made the last time. Yeah. Let's see if I can. I don't know if I can redo it here. Probably not the best, but it will work. Okay. And then this adheres on like this. Yeah, trim this a little bit. Honestly, it's just whatever fits for me. So like on the smaller planes, I've used the smaller dimensionals, and on the bigger planes and the bigger parts, I use the bigger ones. So really no rhyme or reason to that. I keep both in my stash because they are useful, and you can cut them in half when you need little tiny things. And no idea what I did with my layer. So this goes like this. I could have swore I had a plane to go on this. Maybe I didn't. I'm just going to borrow one from my stack because I don't know what I did with it. I need an assistant here, don't I? And since I'm going to be finish these off screen, I can always color some more and do some more. I don't know where I laid it. Did you drop it on the floor? You know, that's like typically what I would have done. I mean, it could be stuck to me at this point. I probably wouldn't know. I don't even know if I had one laying there. That's where my mind is right now. So I'm just putting this on the front. Now, I'm going to throw you for a loop here. We did our other one like this. Let me dig it out. Like I said, I don't even know if I had a plain laying there with that. Could have swore I did, but because we laid them all out, but I don't know. So I did this one like this with no mat. So someone ease my mind. Did I have a plain laying with that? Because, you know, it's possible I didn't. Especially if it was something I wanted to cut. So I'm going to turn this like this and make a horizontal card or landscape. And I'm going to stamp my greeting right down here. And I just, which one did I want to use? I'm going to do just a note. You know, my favorite greeting. You could use a birthday wish or whatever you want. This is from the Simply Said. I'm going to put this right here. And this plane's going to be here. So that's how I used my two diagonals. Oh my goodness, now I can't. Thank you, Linda. So I'm going to bring in that stamp positioner again. And if I did have a plane, it's probably stuck to me somewhere. Or who knows. Typical Beth fashion here. So I'm just going to put this down in the corner here like that. You could use a bigger greeting and a smaller plane. However you want. Said. And I've used, let me move this up, sorry about that. I have used the basic gray ink through all of this. So, yep, I just like to check to make sure that it's opening the correct way before I stamp it. Fun, right? Over there. And I'm going to use dimensionals. I have used quite a few on these cards. So if you live in Ohio, it is tax-free shopping right now. And guess what? Dimensionals are on the list. So actually for Ohio, first time ever, we have quite a bit on the list. So if you need to stock up, now's a great time because you can save a little bit of money. But if you're waiting for the 6th for the paper sale, that is a good time to shop too. So I'm just kind of letting this come off the designer's paper and onto the white. There we go. So let's do, thank you. Thank you, Deb. Thank you, Linda. Thanks for the love. I appreciate that. Oh, Joan. Joan. Hey, you gotta have math to create the mats, right? I know, you know, my least favorite thing is doing the eighths, but there's your small math lesson for the day. Oh, I'm sorry, Joan. I hate that. Like I said, this is the first year, the entire catalog. Papers, it's considered, It's considered a school supply. And I guess if you homeschool, that could be very true. I don't send this kind of stuff with my kid. I do make cards for his stuff. So I still have this stack over here. And I think I'm going to leave this one without a greeting. So see, I still have, remember that plane that you can build? I already had this built and laying on my desk. So we still have these cards. We still have this fun card. All I do is take these like this, glue them on with a little bit of space so that gray is showing through. You could even pop this piece on somehow, maybe not. And then I just typically put a greeting in the middle, okay? You can also do a strip. Somewhere I have, this is just for visual purposes. I have a strip like this. You could also do this like this in a line. Okay, obviously my gray strip's not big enough, but you could do that with some space, and I may change it up and do that instead of this. Looks like I lost another, that's the plane I borrowed. I'll find it later. And then we have that one. So I have just a few that I have to complete. But I thank you for hanging out with me today and using the basic white note cards. I used Adventurous Sky. I used Take to the Sky Designer Series paper. And I had some extra basic white. I used basic gray ink. Was the only ink color I used to stamp all my planes, to stamp my clouds, to stamp my greetings. I used Stampin' Blends to color my planes. I used light copper clay, light smoky slate, and light boho blue. There's a little bit of blue on there. So here, let's lay these out. Here's what I got completed in 2 hours. Now, granted, sometimes explaining takes a little bit longer. But here we go. We have a variety of cards. Some have a lot. Some have a little. And these are a stepped up version. So you could just use this paper and some squares and make greetings and strips. What do you think? Give me some hearts if you had fun today and you enjoyed this. I will get the printable up soon so that you can print that and use my template. Thank you so much for the love. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully I didn't miss any comments. If I missed you, I'm sorry. I like to go back through and read comments after the video is over because sometimes I miss things. But thanks for hanging out. I hope you have had fun. My next card class is going to feature Adventurous Sky. That info will be coming soon. If you need any Stampin' Up! Products, you can shop at bethroy.stampinup.net. Again, if you earned bonus coupons in July, you can redeem those now. Check your email from right after you ordered. We have a paper sale, designer series paper sale, starting Tuesday the 6th. That's also pre-orders for demonstrators for the new mini catalog coming in September. And I think that's everything. So if you have any questions, just shoot me a message and I'm happy to help. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend and take care. See you soon. Bye.